This is not a transformation video. This is literally my starting point. This is day one of this entire ordeal. I'm not gonna, you know, flip forward and show you a finished result because it ain't there yet, to be quite honest. As the title of this video says, I can't do one pull up. I am literally starting from the zero ability standpoint in terms of being able to do a pull up. I'm currently a 42-year-old male. I'm roughly about 50 pounds overweight, if I'm going to be honest about it. When I jumped on the scale today, it read around like 197.4 or zero point 0.3, somewhere in that area, guys, which basically puts me, ideal body weight for me is between like 145 to 150 if I'm very, very lean. Without being super, super lean, guys, if I, have a little bit more, well, still would be lean, guys, but a little bit more, let's just say muscle definition, a little bit more muscle tone to me, a better, composed body, better composition. I can get up to about 160, 165, just noting from my time playing football and things like that. I know where I'm lean, but still, very good in terms of the body composition. That's roughly where I would be at. I got some work to do because right now at almost 200 pounds, I cannot pull myself up the bar. I have tried, guys. It is not there. My central nervous system is not recognizing that. It's telling me to come back later. They're experiencing technical difficulties, if you will. That's pretty much what my CNS is saying to me right now. Yeah, it's not happening. Why am I doing this? To start, I got a 23-month-old that you might hear in this video. I'm sorry, guys. She's going to do what she's going to do. But she was born with trisomy 21. And because she was born with trisomy 21, which is a form of Down syndrome, she has low muscle tone. And in that low muscle tone, guys, she's got some developmental issues with motor skills. That's a really long-winded way of saying that she could have some serious delays to her ability to move around, her ability to walk, her ability to do a lot of things could be quite delayed. And simply put, at 42 years old, living in a house that has stairs, by the way, I might have to intervene on her behalf and help assist her as she matures into her body, as she kind of matures and grows a little bit. And, to be quite frank about everything, pushing, pulling, squatting, hip hinging, lifting objects up over your head, those are everyday tasks. And I think it's really easy to kind of let things go as you get older and you just don't, you're a little bit more established in life. So maybe you just don't, you don't feel that hunger as much as you used to. Well, I'm starting to feel it again, guys. I mean, life had other plans for me. Couch, potato job has it's been taken down, guys. They called me into the office, told me they needed to talk with me, and sent me on my way packing. I'm awake. In addition to having a 23-month-old who's, got Down syndrome, I also got a 15-year-old. And she's involved in softball. And quite often I take her down to the fields and, we work together. I coach her. That's a pretty demanding thing to do. I mean, that takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of skill, to be quite honest. And there are times where my cardiovascular conditioning it's not up to par. And even my strength training, like, if you look at it from the ability to just kind of show and be able to make good, strong throws for her and teach her proper body positioning, right? Hip hinging, going back to hip hinging, right? Getting into an athletic fielding position is to hip hinge. There are things that like I've got to improve and I need to set a better example for her, to be quite honest. And then I also got a wife who is still, I'm a former teacher myself, a former coach. She's still involved in the K through 12 education system. She's currently an elementary teacher, and it's a very mentally tasking job. And when you get home, I think it's really easy to kind of go into yourself and to, you need motivation, right? You need a workout partner. You need somebody to kind of help you get that mental clarity, that mental focus to start, because it is really hard to start when you're kind of, mentally fatigued when you get home. It's not a very physically demanding job. It is a very mentally demanding job, if I'm going to be honest, teaching is. This is all basically to say I need to be more accountable to my family. I need to be more of a role model. I need to kind of take ownership a little bit here, right? I need to be the spark plug to kind of gets everybody going and moving here. And we can all look at each other and point fingers, or someone can get us started, and we can all kind of pitch in as a family and do this together, if you will. What are my current abilities in terms of my starting point? Like, how many push-ups can I do? How many, pull-ups can I do? What can I run a mile in? All those things. To be honest, I don't really know all of them. I know I can't really do a pull up, as the title of the video indicates. Can I get to 20 push ups? I'm not entirely sure, to be quite honest. I mean, maybe, maybe not. You know, we'd have to see. Sorry about the lighting. We're in my garage right now. As most of you know, if you've ever done this before, most of the time they kind of give you some very straightforward advice in terms of how to progress towards a pull-up, right? What's number one thing they tell you to do, guys, right? Is to get a band. So you're looking for a band. This is a 37-inch loop band that I have here. It's a serious steel band, and they tell you to basically loop it around your rack. So it would look something like this. Okay. Here's the problem with this. This is a 37-inch one. I'd have to get a little bit longer of a band because currently, you know, I got to basically fight with this band into a workout to even get it down to my foot, to even use this to create an assisted pull-up. It's not easy. Watch, I'll show you. Son of a... What the fuck? What the... Yeah. I'd have to pull one of my ladders out essentially to get up there and actually jump on this. And I'll show you. I got a one with the tags and the stickers still on everything, if you will. Kidding me? You can see the struggle here, guys. It's real. I could grab up here. I could put my foot through and stop playing around a little bit. But even with a one leg in here, guys, to create the resistance, this is a little too easy for me to do pull-ups, guys. Good comical relief. Not the best exercise. Essentially, that band is entirely too strong. Listen, they sell lesser bands for like 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks online, and they'll stretch further, and they provide less resistance. You can even get this version. You get, you know, this exact band, Serious Steel, and you can get a lesser one. You don't need to have this strength of one. This would work great for, like, you know, trying to do a lat pull down, right? Not so great for doing a pull up. What's the next big one they tell you to do in order to progress in pull-ups, guys? They tell you to jump up here and essentially work on the eccentric coming down, right? Slowly lower yourself. If you're 50 pounds overweight, guys, do you know how much strength you need to have to slowly lower yourself down from the freaking bar? It's pretty tough. I'll show you. Yeah, not exactly slowly lowering myself. I'm not there yet. I'm not even to the point where I can do any of that, okay? The next thing they tell you is to do the scapula. Do the scapula ones, right? And I actually think that's pretty good advice if you're in the intermediate stages of being able to do a pull-up, if you're getting kind of closer. So basically, you're gonna come up here, guys, and you're gonna get to that point where you're just pulling your shoulders upwards, right? Almost like you're trying to get your central nervous system to identify what you're trying to do, right? Beginning that bottom portion, getting your central nervous system to recognize that you wanna move up that bar. I'd still argue, I'm not quite there yet. The two exercises I love to do right now, though, in terms of preparing me for a pull-up, are these two things. What? First thing, inverted rows, I believe is what they call these. I think this is a great one because as you lower this down, the tension increases, and it gets harder and harder, and it gets more realistic to actually doing a real pull-up. And you can do these in easy, you know, sets of 2, 3, 4, or even 5. If you're really that strong, I would suggest sets of 2 or 3, and then you can do rep ranges of 4 to 10. I would say once you start getting up to 10, it's time to lower it and make it a little tougher. So you just simply go under your bar, kind of like so. You're going to grab here. You're going to pull your chest up to it, okay? So works better when you don't have slippers on, guys. To me, I love that one. That's definitely a way that you can progress quickly in being able to pull up, in my opinion. At least that's what I'm going to do for myself, guys. This is one of the exercises I'm going to do to try to work my way in there to inverted row. Next exercise, the next thing I'm doing in particular to really help me progress in terms of my pulling strength is, if I'm 50 pounds overweight, right now I need to be able to pull at minimum at least 200 pounds, guys. So if you can't pull 200 pounds, you ain't pulling yourself up this bar. I can pretty much guarantee you. So you got to work on your ability to pull, your strength to pull, right? At least that's what I'm working on. Right now I got 100 pounds on there. I got a 45 and a 5, guys. It's 50 pounds on both ends. This is going to be a 1-to-1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lat pull down and I'm going to modify it to where basically I'm kneeling on the ground and I'm mimicking that pulling motion as much as I can from a pull-up. And I'm going to keep working on it until I get strong. These ones I do 8 to 12 reps on. I do 3 to 5 sets on. I got the most grip. I like to grab here or here. These are my 2 grips. You can grab out here, but I don't think it mimics it that well. Here and here is where I like to grab, guys. All right, I come down. And then I'm just going to make it like I'm doing a pull-up, right? Pulling it up until it clears my chin. I'm doing the best I can to control this and not let this sucker just go flying and actually control the weight. My theory is, if I can get close to 200 pounds pulling that, in a time frame of me losing weight and recomping my body, going through recomposition, I should be able to progress here on my pulling strength, if you will. We'll see if that's factually true, though. Just to be transparent about everything, what my background is, guys. I'm a former athlete. I played sports when I was younger, guys. I was a football player. I was a basketball player. I was a baseball player. I wrestled. I did all those things, guys. I can't change what my background is. I'm prior military. I was in the United States Navy, very obviously. I have some relationship to training. I'm not a complete newbie when it comes to training, but I am as deconditioned as you probably are. To be quite honest, if you're starting this journey from day one as well, you're probably just as deconditioned as I'm deconditioned, regardless, I should say, irregardless isn't really a word, regardless of, my prior experience. Has nothing to do with it. Maybe I'm a little bit more familiar with doing certain movements. Maybe I have a little bit more knowledge about exactly what to do in order to get in shape. You may have to have a higher startup cost in terms of that, but I am deconditioned just the same way you are deconditioned, to be quite honest. Some of you are probably not quite as deconditioned as me because I have enjoyed my time with cakes, pies, and cookies and everything else, to be quite honest. Chips, there's a reason why I got 50 pounds overweight. I know what I did. All that to say, guys, if you want to come along on this journey, if you want to document and see my documentation of what I do in terms of the journey, I welcome you to come along with me, and I welcome you to share your stories and talk a little bit. I mean, hey, you got advice, you got some helpful tips. I'll tell you right now, guys, I suck when it comes to form. As much experience as I got in the gym, as much experience as I have training, I am not very good when it comes to form. I am not very good when it comes to flexibility and mobility. I've lost a lot of flexibility and mobility with age, to be quite honest. Like, I am nowhere near as agile and athletic as I once was. If you want to see a video of me explaining my programming and talking about how I'm going to be doing this, what my program is going to look like, I encourage you to watch this video that's going to be up here, guys. That video is going to it's going to share exactly what I'm doing step by step, and like kind of just in case you're curious, like, what kind of workout is he following? It'll be listed for you there. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all's time and attention so much. If you're new to the channel, I'd love to have your subscription. I would love for you to join this community that I'm building. Just need you to click that subscribe button to do that. And without further ado, y'all, I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you guys on the next video.